Hi, this is Carolina, the Soul Coach. Welcome to my podcast. Hello and welcome to this week's Sunday Catch-Up. How are you and how has your week been? I really hope it's been a good one. This week has been really busy for me, really busy, and it's been a really good week. So much is happening, and so much so I don't even know where to begin. So I'm going to start at the beginning. So let's start with Monday. So Monday, went to work as normal, and then in the evening I had a group of ladies come round to the house and we did a beautiful meditation evening. I love these evenings. They're so nice, and the stillness that we can access fairly quickly on these evenings is incredible, absolutely beautiful. And if you don't meditate now, I would really thoroughly recommend it. There's no right way or wrong way of doing meditation, but it's just so nice. So we did a mixture of guided meditations, we listened to music, and we just went straight into the stillness with no guided meditation or no music, just feeling that stillness. And it's just like a coming home feeling. It feels so blissful. It's just so nice and just allows us to kind of settle our energy. And it's really good to do it on a Monday because it just helps set up our week. So yeah, that was really beautiful Monday evening, really nice. And so thank you ladies for all those that come, and it was really nice to see Lady online as well, and it works just as well. She was doing it in her garden and you could hear the birds singing. It was so wonderful. And then on Tuesday I had my great mate round, Scott, and he's like guiding me, directing me with the Living a Life of Magic podcasts and the videos, and he's really cool and he keeps coming up with great ideas and he's really pushing me and motivating me and coming up with great ideas. And I'm up for everything and anything, and he said, I really want you, Carolina, to do some videos on crystals. So Tuesday he came round and we've created a little studio in one of our little rooms at our house, and he bought some lights, and yes, it really was. It was like I was on a film set. It was lights, camera, action, isn't it? So it was like that this week. And he filmed, I spoke on two crystals. One was shungite and one was moldavite. So when I first started out doing videos in front of the camera, I used to get really tongue-tied, and it was like take 50 and I would finally get it right. Never mind getting over the shyness of actually speaking to a camera. And I've learned that the trick is that I have to pretend the camera is a person, and then I can do it. And then my mind kind of settles down and relaxes. Well, you would have thought, having Scott here, who's a friend, having the camera there that I know is my friend too, and that I speak to the camera, could I get my words out? I was getting so frustrated. I kept getting tongue-tied. And normally on these podcasts, I don't mind. As you know, I slip up on some words, and I already have today. But that's okay. We can forgive ourselves. But honestly, I just couldn't get my words out. I knew what I wanted to say, and I just couldn't do it. And in the end, I was getting so worked up and so frustrated. I thought I was letting Scott down. I thought I was letting myself down. I was like, why can I not do this? We've owned shop Quest for 17 years and we've sold crystals for 17 years. And we talk about crystals all day long. But could I get my words out? So it took about 25 takes, I think. And then finally, Scott was so patient, so kind. I finally managed, I think, to do 6 minutes of a video on shungite. And shungite is such an interesting crystal, as you will find out from the video. And I think it was because it's quite kind of scientific scientific because it has the carbon and the fullerenes and all of that in. I really struggled. Anyway, I managed to do it. Scott has edited it. I think it's out already, or Alistair is going to put it out for me. It's coming out very soon. I know that much. And I hope you find it interesting. And if you don't know about shungite, yeah, it's well worth a look up. So that was Tuesday. But then I spoke about Moldavite, and I did it in one take. Can you believe that? Shungite took 25 plus takes, and then Moldavite was just fine. And what Scott said to me, it's just all in the mind, isn't it? He said, just pretend you have an audience in front of you, and they're all here, sitting here, waiting for you to go on stage. And that really helped, because then I knew I had no choice. I had to do it. I couldn't go on stage and like fluff up. So yeah, so that was really funny. It was funny. It was very difficult, and I did have a little tantrum, and I did cry a little bit, but I managed to pull it back with Scott's kindness, and yeah, pull it back. So there's 2 videos coming out, Moldavite and Shungite, and then this week we're going to film some more. So if there's anything you would like me to talk about, I'm going to be doing these Living a Life of Magic podcasts where I'm interviewing other people about their living a life of magic. And we just released Kathy. I interviewed Kathy, who we work with as an old school friend. We released that last week. This week, last week. It's Sunday today, so yeah, last week I suppose. And that was really fun because Kathy is magic. So yeah, she told us all about how she became who she is today. And so I learned some new things about Kathy. So that's really interesting. So that came out. So doing these Living a Life of Magic kind of interviews. And then we're going to be doing these, find out about crystals. And then we'll go on about palm reading and pendulums and all different things. So if there's anything that you want included, do let me know. But it was a great experience. And it was really cool to be challenged to do it. Yeah, my mind didn't let me totally down. So that was good. And then on Wednesday, I'd kind of had a day off, but I actually chose to go into work. And you know, when you have one of these unexpected days where you can just like do something that you want to do. And I really, really wanted to have an admin day where I could just catch up with some things that have just built up and I hadn't had a chance to clear. So I set up in a little room. We've got a shop that we use for readings and everything, because no one was in that day. Put my music on, put my diffuser on, and just got my computer out and just managed to get loads on loads of admin bits done, and that felt so good. I was so happy, and it was so nice because nobody was expecting me, so I wasn't being called into the shop, or not that I mind, but you know what it is when you have some free time, you can just kind of concentrate on what you want to do. So that was a real blessing to be able to do that. I think it's really nice to create that time, isn't it, to do what we want to do. And yeah, that was a great day. And then on Thursday, so let me skip forward and then I'll skip back. So this weekend we've just come back today from a wedding that we had yesterday, Saturday, at Le Manoir or Catchup. I think that's how you say it. Anyway, it's in Oxford. It's a Raymond Blanc hotel. It's beautiful, and we've friends who had a wedding there, and it was unbelievable. So I'm going to come back to that. But on Thursday, I got myself ready. So I had my hair done, I had a bit of a pamper day. It was really nice. So I had my nails done with a wonderful Total Look in Epsom by Sally. And yeah, it was just nice to have a bit of pampering time. And then I had a board meeting. I'm a director of Go Epsom, and which is the bid for Epsom. So it's all about creating Epsom into a safe space, a nice space to be in. It's looking at how to come up with different events and different things on that. So I'm on the board of directors, which is a new position, and it's really nice. I was on there and then I resigned, and now I've come back on there. But it's really interesting because I used to work in the corporate field. Prudential stopped that in 1998. So then kind of since then I've worked for myself, and I haven't actually been on a board. I've never been on a board apart from the Go Epsom one. And then this time, and it's just really interesting because, again, it's how you interact, isn't it? And being on a board with other kind of people, it's really interesting. I've been to 2 meetings, and this was the second one on Thursday. And it's just really interesting observing personalities and what's been said. And then I was like, the first meeting I went to, I was super self-conscious and just aware of, where do I fit in here and what can I bring to the table? And I kind of didn't quite know what I could bring to the table because there's a few things that we need to sort out and etc, etc. But it's really interesting to get stuck into creating a great space for Epsom Town Centre and representing businesses and independents, because obviously we're an independent shop. Anyway, so Thursday was the second meeting, and I'd listened to a podcast by Stephen Bartlett, and he was talking about this particular podcast about being on board meetings and that it's okay not to speak. It's okay to observe and just to not have to feel like you have to add something, and just add it if you want to add value. So I thought that was really good advice, and so I relaxed a lot more and was able to say what I needed to say when I thought I could add value, and that was really nice. I just think that we get ourselves tied up in knots, don't we, sometimes in our minds, and it's only until we start listening to other people, or we listen to podcasts, or we do a bit of research, that we realise that other people think the same things. You all know people that will talk for the sake of talking, and I didn't want to be that person, and I don't really, I kind of like to observe and respond. So yeah, but listening to that really helped, and it was just very, very interesting. So that was Thursday, and then I could carry on with my pampering, so that was good. And then what happened then? So then on Friday, I had a wonderful client. So it was a second session for this client. First session did a lot of clearing, a lot of bringing this particular client into centre, which was really nice. But there was a lot going on. And then the second treatment, she could just relax. The first treatment was clearing, talking, But you could really, with the second session, it's really nice when you can do more than one, because within a week you could really feel the difference. And so giving Reiki is just wonderful, as I say, every week. And it was a beautiful experience, it really was. And she was really able to go deep and to relax. So that was nice. So that was Friday morning. And then we travelled to Oxford Friday afternoon. And so we left at 12:30 to go to Oxford. It's an hour and 20 minutes away. But they'd shut the M40, hadn't they? Which we thought we'd get there nice and early. We could have a little chill out. And then we were going to meet everyone before the wedding to have a meal. And then they shut the motorway. And so we got there. So we left at 12:30 and we got there at 4:20. The guy whose wedding it is, we rang and said, because I knew he was leaving that afternoon, and we said to him, there's bad traffic, this was at 2, and he goes, well, I've just left. He arrived 40 minutes before we got there. No, he couldn't have arrived 40 minutes, 20 minutes before we got there. The motorway had opened. Can you believe it? But what it did do, it gave us an opportunity to chill out in the car, listen to podcasts, look at bits of back roads that we'd never seen. We drove through Marlow, which is beautiful, and we just kept calm. It could have got very stressful. It really could have done, because we were having to try and meander through different roads and M4 and stuck in the traffic and all the rest of it. But of course the motorway cleared, didn't it? And they shot straight through, and never mind, it all worked out fine. But I just think sometimes when it's stressful situations, you have a choice, don't you? You either go into the stress and you or you don't. But it's just relaxing that mind and just saying it's okay. There's no. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And it was great listening to some podcasts and just chatting and catching up. And it was a nice journey in the end, but it was just took double the amount of time. And then Friday evening we went out for a meal, which was really nice. Just nice to be with friends and just to have a chat, and just really nice. And the weather was glorious. It was really nice. So we just kind of discussed things for the, just the excitement of the wedding the next day. You know how that is. And you're just so looking forward to the next day. It was just really nice. I just had such a nice time on Friday. After the pampering, after the client, and we were really celebrating this week. Something that has been quite a long time to come to a resolution, came to a resolution this week. And so it was so freeing, so great, and we were really able to move forward and we could really celebrate. So celebration time on Friday. And then Saturday we had the wedding. So we got up, and really interesting. So it was in Oxford, in Great Milton, I think it was called. And I booked to have my hair done on Saturday morning, just to have it put up, because then I don't have to worry about it. And we couldn't find it because I was looking for hairdressers that had sign outside and everything. But actually it was in the back of someone's house. We eventually did find it. And I was chatting to the owner who was putting my hair up, and she was saying during COVID, she had her hairdressers in Oxford, and then obviously we all know what happened, and she just reflected and she decided that she would create a hair studio at the back of the house. It was amazing. She really created it, and of course it just makes sense. Why not do it in the back of your home? Why not create, if you can and you have space to do this? And so it was really interesting talking to her about her business and how she's reduced the cost by not having the lease and not having those costs that she would have had if she'd continued, and it's made a difference to her. I just think, she just said to me, she said, I really don't like to admit this. She said, but I really enjoyed COVID. I really did. And I was like, yeah, me too. I really enjoyed, because obviously we couldn't do anything. The shop was shut. We were forced to be locked down, weren't we? And then it just kind of triggered the memories of going for lots of walks and just having some downtime to reflect and just to make some changes, and it was just forced upon us. And so that first bit was just incredible. Not that we did relax too much, because Hattie's sweet shop, everyone was wanting sweeties, so we were delivering sweeties to people, which was nice. But anyway, digressing. It was just really interesting to see how someone had a thriving business coming out of lockdown and how that worked for her. And I think I've spoken to so many people, and obviously it was 4 years ago now, and I think we would just come out of lockdown. It was June, wasn't it? Middle of June. We'd just come out 4 years ago. So I think all of our lives have changed since then. We've all have something to say about that. And there was a lot of positives that came out of that. There really was. So then the wedding, you couldn't get better surroundings. Honestly, it's so beautiful. It really is. The bride and groom, the bride just looks stunning. The groom was just so handsome, and everyone just really got on well, and it was just beautiful. It really was. It was just nice to dress up, nice to be in relaxed surroundings. We all work so hard, don't we? So take some time out for a wedding. It was just really great. And lots of nice food, lots of chatting. Will gave a reading which he'd prepared for. It was a Winnie the Pooh one. Oh, it was so nice, and he'd practiced it because every time he read it, he every time he read it, he cried because it was such a moving reading. So he smashed it on the day, and everyone clapped him afterwards because he read it so beautifully. And then they said, and then he was surprised by a second one he had to read, and he hadn't practiced that, but he absolutely smashed it, so it was great. And then I got to be a witness, which I hadn't done before. And it doesn't matter how many times you kind of sign your name, don't you? I'll sign my name like daily and print my name. But when it comes to something like that, it was like, oh. So I was, had to practice with their pen, and it was so funny. I was shaking as I was signing, but it was so nice. And then the evening came, and they had a live band, and I don't know what happened, but my soul just took over, and I did not stop dancing all night. Literally did not stop dancing. My husband and I, our feet were moving, our bodies were moving. I have no idea how it happened. We literally sat down for 2 half a songs. The rest of the time we were dancing. I literally don't remember. I don't think my body was in control. My soul literally felt the beat of that music, and I loved it. It was an amazing evening. It was such great fun. It was just incredible, and I just think it was just such an amazing celebration. Not only the wedding, the completion of something that had been going on, that had been quite stressful, coming to an end. It was just incredible. It was just so good. It was just thoroughly, and just being in such good company, and seeing our friends being married, and just that whole atmosphere, and having a live band and a singer and a saxophonist and a drummer and a keyboard and a guitar player. Oh, it was just incredible. So yeah, it was really good, really, really good. And it was so nice to let her hair down and just have a really good time. So, and then of course they were saying your body is going to ache the next day. I'm like, no, I'll be fine. And what happened? My hip was killing me today. Oh my goodness me. I don't know what I've done. No other part of me aches, but my hip is killing me. So I must have been swinging my hips a lot last night. And Will's knee really hurts him, and it's swollen, and my hip is really painful when I walk or go upstairs. So it's a price to pay, isn't it? Because it was just great. It was really good. So yeah, I'm sure that will cover. I'm going to put some ice on it, I think, and hopefully that will help it. But it was definitely worth it. So that's it. And then we went for a nice breakfast in Tame, which I found out there's a path that goes from the Cotswolds all the way to London. I don't know if the path does. Anyway, there's a path, a long path. I'm going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to put that on the to-do list because it sounds really nice. A riverside walk from the Cotswolds through Tame and onwards. So that should be interesting. I'm going to put that on our list. We've got this long list of things to do. So, yeah. So that was been my week. But I wanted to talk to you about something else because I had a conversation with a friend of ours on Friday, and something really terrible had happened for them, and I'm not going to go into it, but it was really awful, and they were really upset. I was really upset, and it was just like this kind of helplessness feeling where something had happened that was out of their control. They weren't expecting it, and it was really difficult for them. And I've been kind of reflecting on when we get really bad news, and when we get news that really challenges us, and how we deal with that. And so I've been reflecting on that, and I just think that challenges come all the time, don't they? They come in and out of our life. And Eckhart Tolle, I'll never forget what he says. He says that when challenges come, we have all the resources that we need at that time in order to deal with them. And that can be really difficult to believe, but I firmly believe that because of my prior experiences with challenges. When they come up, I do feel we have those resources that we can deal. And with every challenge that I've experienced, there has been a learning. There has been something that can be taken from it. And it's the real challenge, it's the really difficult ones, the really painful ones that's really hard to deal with. And our brain can't help but to go to our subconscious, look at previous belief system, look at previous experiences, and it fires up, and it's like, first of all, it's just like a shock, isn't it? It's like a disbelief. It's like all those emotions come up that cause us just to be angry and to upset and hurt, and it's really hard. And I think what the challenge is within that challenge is not to make any of this that our mind comes up with at that first time we hear of the challenge or we experience the challenge, to make it mean something, and not to become that challenge, not to become a victim of that challenge, not to kind of identify with the challenge, but just to allow ourselves to go through the process, allow our brain to go through the motions, allow our body to feel what it feels, and to allow our emotions to happen, and just to go through that process, but not to make it mean anything and not to become anything. And then what we can do is observe. We can observe how we're feeling. We can observe what our thoughts are. And we can just allow that. And then when we can kind of come back to center, so I find lots of breathing helps. Lots of staying grounded and being really kind to ourselves in these moments. It really helps. So this friend who'd heard this news and was in terrible shock, it's just, it was a completely out of the blue shock, and it's just allowing time to process all of this, and then it's looking for ways to find out, okay, so what can we really do here to help the situation? What can we do here with the challenge that's going to help? What are the lessons here? What can we do? And I think the difficulty comes when it's someone else. So it's family, but it's someone else, and it's out of the control. There is nothing that we can do. And I just find those particular situations very, very hard. And so I believe that we can work then with what I call the magic. We can work behind the scenes. And so it's working with energy, it's working with consciousness, it's working with the divine, it's working with all that we can work behind the scenes. And so the things that we can do is to stay centered. If we go into the fire as well, we're just going to be no good. If we go into the drama, we're not going to be any good. We're just not going to have the resources to be able to deal with it. But if we can stay outside and stay grounded, stay centered, we're going to be more help. So when challenges have happened before that are out of our control and that are for someone else, I have personally visualized a very positive outcome. I visualized that person how I would like them to visualize, and that helps me feel like I'm doing something. However, the other thing is to also say to the divine, please can you help here, to help for the highest good of the people involved. And that's all that you can do. This is what I think, this is just my personal opinion, is that that's all that we can do in these difficult situations. Obviously, we're involved with the challenge, and there are things that we can do. When we're not emotional, when our brains are calm, we will get guided inspiration of steps that we can take. But if we're in the stress, if we're in the drama, we can't think clearly. And we might take the wrong steps. We might feel drawn to doing the wrong things. So if we can center, ground, we can then take intuitive action, guided action, be inspired to what action we can take. So, yeah, hearing this news, it's just allowing that process to happen and then centering and thinking, what practical steps can we take? What's most going to help what most is going to help people? What can we do to help ourselves? And I really wanted to just share that. I know, coming back to Eckhart Tolle, the challenges, when they come, we do have the resources to deal with them. We really do. I think that's at the end. I think that's all I've got to say for this week. No, there's one more thing that I want to share actually, and that is that we always have a choice. And I think we forget that. Like in the car with us going to Oxford, we had two choices. We could go into the stress that an hour and a half journey was taking 3 hours, or we could choose to stay calm. We could choose to do other things. We could choose to make the best of the time. And I always think that we have a choice. What choice do we have? If there's something in our life that we don't like, we have a choice. We're not powerless. We can be empowered and we can make good choices. We've got lots of, we personally, as a family and as a business, we have some choices to make. And sometimes we want to make those choices hastily. We want to make those decisions hastily. But we've got time. We don't need to rush. And when I have choices to make, I'm listening to my intuition more and more, stepping back, coming back to centre, doing all of those things that I've just said about when we have a challenging time. But even when we don't have a challenging time, but we have choices to make, we have decisions to make, I think it's always a good time to come back to centre, come back to the groundedness, and then seek all the information that you need to be able to make the choice that you need to be able to make. And you will be guided, you really will. Well, I hope you have a great week. Hope you have a successful, happy week. I'm really excited about this week. The plan is we're going to Stonehenge. I'm going with my daughter, Harriet, to Sunset Stonehenge. So I'm really excited about that. Do some more filming on Tuesday. And my eldest daughter's coming home for a couple of months. She's in Bali, so I'm really excited about her, to see her. So I really look forward to next week's Sunday Catch-Up podcast, because I have lots to tell you. And I hope you have a really great week. Please don't forget to talk to me. Let me know what you'd like to be included in some videos. And if you're already living a life of magic and you'd like to come on my podcast, I'd love to have you on there. Message me, let me know. Speak to you next week. Take care. Oh, let's just take a breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling your feet on the ground, relaxing your shoulders. All is well in this moment. Nowhere else for you to be, nothing for you to do. You can just be here with me, taking a moment, breathing in, breathing out. You've got this. Let go. Trust in the